There you go.
Yeah. And now Alan's here.
Yeah.
We've got 4 people in my office.
Okay. Well, we'll call the meeting to order. Everybody's in attendance. They have a motion for approval of the January 19th meeting.
Yeah, I'll motion to approve.
Second?
I second.
Okay, Lori seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Brett, you for or against it?
4, I said aye.
Okay, we came late, so pass unanimously. Any public comments? I don't see anybody on the online. Right, none there. Any updates from Bob?
So the only thing I had was I got a call from a gentleman that lives up on the corner on Miller Road, across from the 3-Town Trail, whatever they call that. He said the traffic committee back a year or 2 ago looked at that area, thought about putting parking signs on one side of the street and asking Avalonia to increase their parking lot. Have we done anything with that? I know there's no parking signs on. But
We talked about that. I remember that.
We forwarded to the selectmen, but I don't think any action was taken.
I think
he just comes in, there's double parking, which I thought maybe now that we're out of COVID, there'd be less hiking, but apparently not. So when there's double parking on that road, an emergency vehicle can't get through. So is your recommendation to put up no parking signs on one side of the road?
Yeah, I think what you said, I'd have to go back to the minutes, but it was one side would be no parking, and then Avalonia would see if they can increase the parking lot size.
Did you want me to reach out to Avalonia? Why don't you find the what the direction was and just give it, you don't do it now, but give it to me. And then we'll follow through on our end.
Okay,
yeah, that's what I remember too, Stephen.
yeah, like I say, we'll find it, the official minutes, and send it to you.
And I'm not even sure when that might have been before.
That was when-
It
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's all I have.
I think Mike went back on that because he didn't want the signs up there. The sign pollution theory.
Mhm.
I think he told us to hold off and see how it went the rest of the year.
All right, so that was Mike. Send me the information. That was Mike.
Okay,
I have no problem with sign pollution, so.
I actually have the minutes right here. They're from the April 6th, 2021 meeting. And a motion was made to contact the conservation group to see about expanding the parking lot and to have a no parking signs installed on the north side of the road and only allow parking on the south side of the road.
Okay, so I think it would be Avalonia. I think I would have to contact, not conservation, because they own the property. So I
Okay.
can contact the chairman of or president of Avalonia and ask him about increasing the lot size. And then as far as the parking signs, let me talk to Highway about that a little bit more and determine how many signs were they looking for, 2 or 3, or just
it's
You
up to
probably
you.
need 3.
3, and space them out accordingly on the
Mhm.
north side, which if you're on Miller Road and the hiking trails are on your left, I assume the north side is also on your left. Is that north?
I guess we depend.
No, they don't want the parking on the, if the trails are on your left, it'd be no parking on the right, because it's right around the corner, a sharp corner right there. I actually just ran it.
Okay, and I think it's parking on one side is not the issue. It's when they're double parking, they just see they
Correct.
get a fire truck through. So I haven't seen that happen. I didn't know there was that many people hiking up there. I know during COVID there was a lot of people hiking up.
Well, I just went today. Like I said, I just ran down Miller and the parking lot was full.
It was full today. Okay.
Yep.
But nothing on the road.
Nobody was on the road today, no.
I think
Yeah.
that lot holds what, maybe 5 or 6 cars.
Well, it depends upon how smart people park.
So minimum maybe between 3 and 6, depending on
Yes.
possibilities.
Yeah, correct.
All right, I'll talk to Avalonia about increasing that size. And myself and Don will have some conversations on parking signs, okay? So, but that's your recommendation, correct?
That was our recommendation in
Okay,
21, yes.
okay, well, okay, and that was April 21 was before my time, but that's okay. I said, I don't have as big a problem with parking signs as the previous first selectman had, so. All
I
right,
think the reason one side was, it's a sharp corner, so if
Yeah.
people on both sides, it doesn't work. At least in one corner, if they park on the one side, it's better.
Okay, so, you know, when you try to walk through someone, they go age before beauty. In this case, it's safety before beauty. So, all right, there we go. So I'm done with selectmen comments.
While we're on the north side of town, any updates on Billings Lake? How did it go on the last holiday?
It was fun.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jay. So
Yeah.
Jay sent me something today and I'll have him talk about, we've only had, since January, we've had 5 inquiries. 3 of them were medical, I think.
Yeah, so since January of this year, there was 5 calls. One was an untimely. There was 3 patrol checks, which were self-initiated by the trooper, and then the last one was a criminal investigation to assist another agency, and that's it. So we haven't had any issues up there. I know it's getting nice out, so.
We got speed bumps back in there, yeah, we do. So speed bumps have been installed and we have.
Yeah, there's three back on the road. Yep.
And DEP prohibited alcohol.
That sign was ripped down, of course, because they don't want that. So that sign, I actually, when I did a garbage pickup, I picked it up. But if we can replace somehow get the alcohol prohibited sign back up. But I also don't know who patrols some of those trails back there.
That would be DP. Yeah, that would be DP. That's if they get a call. They're not gonna just walk out there if they get something. But that's the parking lot is theirs. So we have the road and then the parking lot is theirs.
Yeah, because there's people that complain again about how the parking lot was redesigned. So I know that's DEP, but also just walking in those trails, there's a lot of strange things that happen back there.
Yeah, that's theirs. So
The trails
Okay.
are theirs too.
at least well actually it all depends where they're going. So
The trails will be Conservation Commission, I would think. So it's part of the town.
yeah.
If you want, Bill Ricker, the chairman of conservation, is on vacation. He'll be back next week. I can ask him if he could have his guys walk those trails and see if they can recommend what kind of things are happening back there.
Well, so I know that there was, so there's people are having fires all along the trails. You'll see where they are, but there's that abandoned building back there that has like sleeping bags in it and lots of, I'm too scared to go near it. I don't know what I'm going to find.
Someone living there, you know?
I don't know, because someone told me they saw a gentleman, and it was actually during the colder months, walking out there with just shorts on, no shirt, and a blanket.
Okay.
You have to go across the dam.
So how far, I've never walked that.
So do you know where the rocks are that everyone
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
to? So if
Yeah,
you just
not
walk
far.
shortly past that, the abandoned building's probably about 50 feet past that.
Okay.
But then it just goes into some trails. Like if you keep going farther, there used to be like an old tennis court where I think kids camp out occasionally, because you'll see, where there's fires and, people had fires or chairs or things. But yeah, if you look in this abandoned building, there's a lot of stuff in it. Like someone may be, or at one point, sleeping in it.
And that's not on the Baptist church property, right?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. But you said there's a old tennis court in there?
Yeah, if you keep going back.
Used to be a little resort years
Was it?
back in the 30s. It was
Oh, yeah?
it was a dance hall and they had a
Really?
yeah.
There's a ton of abandoned buildings that are falling down. I mean, I walk in it quite a bit, but yeah, just strange things could happen back there.
Okay. I'll have the Conservation Commission look into that and they can recommend to the town what they think we should do. All right. Anything else on Billings Lake?
No, that's it.
All right, Steve, where do you want to go next?
Sleepy Hollow, I guess.
Okay.
Nothing's going on since I contacted the people that made your original inquiry. They came back. I sent you actually an email. So it's just more an update on status of what was the town plan to do, if anything, at that spot.
So yeah, Steve. So we were waiting to see what happened there as far as with clearing the vegetation before we did the encroachment permits to the state, and then have to take that lady's trees and stuff out.
Yep.
And I wasn't aware of any complaints about it. Did see John Anderson, he was saying that he wanted it taken down, and I said, well, we hadn't heard any other complaints, so if you have a problem, get back a hold of Traffic Commission. So I didn't know if he got back a hold of you. This is just probably about a week ago I saw him. He
No,
wasn't
I
happy with the-
actually went back to the email. I think it was a Lori that sent the original inquiry. And I just asked her, how does it stand? And she sent the message I sent to you guys that it's not any better. And actually, you did a good job on the north side of the vegetation. Now the south side's overgrown. But it's still sightline issues.
Right.
North.
Well, technically, I mean, the state owns that property so far back into that area, so they're supposed to maintain the vegetation. But I mean, we can go out there and do it if it's a safety thing. As far as the encroachment permit, if you still want me to go forward with it, it's all typed up. All I gotta do is send it in, and it takes about 3 weeks. And then we start cutting down all those trees and moving all that dirt.
You talked to the homeowner, we still have permission?
Yeah, I haven't talked to her lately, but yeah, we have permission.
Okay,
But that's all up to selectmen if they want to do that. Our recommendation was I think we had four items, and actually when I looked at the list, I forgot one. We forgot one of the things recommendation was reduce the speed limit in that area, which we know has to go to the state, but there's basically 5 things that we recommended to the selectmen for action.
right, there's some things we couldn't do, and Donnie, you can expound on that.
Yeah, so the mirror was out. If you put a mirror up there, the state said they were gonna come and take it down. That's a no-no.
We didn't
As
put that on
far
our
as-
list.
As far as the speed limit thing, that you'd have to have a study done. And then they would have to go out there and do it. It's up to the state to do that. We can't
Yep.
get involved as far as changing speed limit signs.
We
Yeah.
recommended putting a dangerous intersection ahead sign. And I think whoever answered the email said that they didn't think that would work. Correct?
Correct.
Yeah, I think so.
Um.
And we also said the speed limit side, which all that stuff needs approval by the state.
Correct.
And get rid of the passing lane gone as well. That was a recommendation, but that's state as well.
Yeah, I came and put up one of those digital speed signs without approval from the state.
Yeah.
We put one out on Dennison Hill, but
Yeah,
that's
that's the
the town road where
next
that
item.
is. All right, that's a town road where we put that out,
Yep.
so. So I guess it'd be more, we'd have to have more discussion with the state, but we can. We can probably do take that hill down. Donnie can send in that, what is it?
Encroachment permit. We have to get a permission from the state before we can do anything out there.
And it also property owner too, right?
The property owner already gave us a green light, so I was gonna,
Yeah, but you want something in writing, right?
yeah.
He told us in person, okay, but I'd want something in writing per the town anyways.
Yeah, if you want to, I can draft, I can draft, I don't know, unless you want the town attorney to draft it up, and make it legal, but. I could just draft something up. She gives us permission to go out there and move the trees in some of her hill.
Donnie will draft it up because his rates are cheaper than the town attorney's rates.
Not really.
Depends on when he does it. Does it after hours, it's overtime, so it's more.
No, I
expensive.
don't get that, unfortunately.
I know. But again, it's all up to selectmen if they want to do that or not, because we're just advisory.
Yeah, again, like we hadn't heard anything from anybody, so we're under the assumption that it was what we did, the little bit we did was working. But if you've got an email that says it's not, and I talked to John Anderson, apparently he's not happy about it, then I have no problem going ahead with the plan.
Will you feel better if the board of selectmen voted on it at the next meeting, or do you feel comfortable with me?
Well, I mean, we're using a lot of taxpayers' money out there to take and knock the hill down and change the sightline that's, apparently had been a problem up until the last couple of years.
I can bring this up at our next agenda on the 29th and have the board of selectmen just vote to approve it.
And would you also bring up the issues on the speed limit and the passing lane to forward that to the state for action?
Well, unfortunately, Jason just left the room because he saw some action across the street from Town Hall that he had to correct.
Okay.
But, kids jumping into the river is a
Oh,
problem.
yeah, when the fishing area the other day on the bridge.
Oh, yeah, but this was only jumping in, I think.
That's
So,
all right.
anyway, so he'll be right back, but we have a grant that we received, a $50,000 grant that we can do some speed and initiatives around town, where he can bring in other troopers and, we can do up to 10 $5,000 events, and we can run a couple up there if that's I think it would make sense.
Well, I
Yeah.
think the biggest problem, Steve, is the sightline. I can tell you, as long as I was a trooper in this town, I never had an accident over there. What I remember one, but
I can't either.
obviously people are driving faster and they're not, since COVID, people don't drive like they used to for some reason.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can go ahead and start the process. And if we have to, we we have a certain amount of time to enact on the permit part of it. And then, if we don't, then it expires and we'll have to just reapply, but.
Yeah.
I think since we're using taxpayers, money as far as paying the employees to work on a state road, you might have some issue with that. So.
Yeah, my only comment was to forward the stuff to the state because two things. One was getting rid of the passing lane. I get past there. I actually get past there down between Clark's Falls Road and there all the time. And there's no passing zone. But the other thing was the speed limit sign, trying to get the speed limit lowered to 40. So that way the troop can ride them at a lower speed than what they have to do now.
What's the speed limit there now?
40, 45, I think.
40, what do you think about,
Pendleton,
49.
what's
Yeah,
Sleepy
45.
Hollow is?
and then it goes back down to 30. So it's
It
45.
goes-
down
It
that hill.
starts by Babcock at like 30 and goes up to 40 and 45 after, somewhere in there, I think.
When you were out, I was talking about that grant we received, where we can do different initiatives on speeding, the $50,000 grant we have.
Yeah.
So
Goes up last week.
we could possibly do something on Pendleton Hill, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So the letter would have to go, Steve, they would have to go to DOT headquarters. And we'd have to request a traffic study to lower the speed limit and change the passing lane to meet the requirements requested by the town.
Yeah.
And then it'd be up to them to come out, do their traffic study and decide if they want to lower it or not. If it's 30 miles an hour, a little further down the road, I think it'd be a little easier to get it lowered to 30 miles an hour there than if it was 45 all the way to the stop sign.
Even 40 would get you, helps out, but I just think the selectmen should send that up to the state as a request, because again, we can't do it as advisory committee.
Got it.
And just put it as one package to the selectmen on selectmen's meeting for the easement and then the request to the state.
All right, I'll work with Donnie and I'll do a letter and have the selectmen approve it.
And then you gotta have it come up in a meeting, bring it up in a meeting in regards to, do they want us to use the taxpayers' money to do state work? Technically, the state's supposed to be doing all this because it's their road. But I guess when the state was out there, they said, hands off, you guys do whatever you want.
Because
Just need the permit.
the state doesn't care about it, right? A sightline issue.
So Alan, I don't know if you heard Alan, but he said the state apparently doesn't really care about a sightline issue.
They leave it up to either the resident or the county.
Did you hear that part?
No,
No?
The state, if it's a sightline issue out of a driveway or out of a town road onto a state road, the state always told us as state employees, it's up to either the resident to clean their bushes or the town to clear the sightline because it's their road coming onto a state road.
yeah, of
That's what
course.
they used to tell us.
Okay,
So if that's the case,
We could ask them because that south side of Sleepy Hollow is all knotweed. They did have a thing a couple of years ago about trying to get rid of the invasive species. We could ask them to spray the knotweed to get rid of it because it will keep spreading.
I think they sprayed north of Grindstone last year.
Yeah, so that's just guardrail. That knotweed, the stuff they use for the guardrail won't kill the knotweed.
Okay,
It's a special company that comes in just to take the knotweed out.
okay. Yeah, I push as much as you can on that. If not, we'll just, we'll see what happens.
okay,
Is that all you need, Bob, to go forward?
yeah, I'm good.
Okay. We're all set with Sleepy Hollow Road, at least for now.
If you get any more people contacting, just let them know that we had this meeting.
Yep.
And there's things that are gonna be put into action, so.
Yeah, and you told them we're looking into it as well.
Yeah.
You responded back, so. We talked about Dennison, any update on that? I've seen the sign, it seems to work. I've followed people going through there. It's speed limit anyways.
I was out there the other day, the sign was working that day, but maybe because we were standing out there, and they saw pedestrians standing on the road, but. There's chatter strips that have been removed up there, and those have been filled, and that road's gonna be redone sometime in the near future.
Still working on it.
Still working on filling.
Still working on filling the chatter strips, but I know that was a concern up there.
So we're gonna fill the challenge strips in sometime either in the fall or next spring. We're gonna be doing chip seal out there. That'll slow them down for a little while.
Is the speed limit sign saying that they're slowing down, or we're getting any data out of that one? Is it a not data one?
I haven't pulled the data on it, but I can.
One thing you
Is
do
that one of our
is,
data ones or no?
Yeah.
yeah, it is, it's one we moved from here. Okay, can you check and see this, we can put a minimum or maximum speed on that? Someone told me they saw it go up to 75 the other day.
Really?
Yeah, so you make sure it's set at
Because me
40.
and Melissa had set it for 5 above,
Yeah, so it should be 5 below and 5, or no, it's
10 miles an hour.
below.
Yep, and then 5 above.
Cause I know like these go on at 20, go off at 40, right?
So no, that goes off at 10 above and blinks red up to then.
So just see if that's calibrated correctly, because, yeah, someone said they thought they saw it go up to 75 the other day.
Because when me and Melissa, when I went through the class to learn how to set that one up, that one was giving her a hard time to get into it. So I may have to go back, call her and go with a Zoom meeting and go through it again, because that one.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought of that, someone mentioned the other day, so,
I can try to log in later.
okay. So we do have record that Alan can go on the computer and find out what the average speed is and if it's dropped.
Yeah, haven't seen any additional requests or complaints from there, so. Just want to make sure if it's working, we'll do it.
Okay,
We're all set in Dennison?
Yep.
Elm Village parking.
so, as when you walked around me the other day, I talked to you about some potential ideas. We were supposed to have a meeting on June 24th to talk about the demolition property. And part of that is gonna be parking in the village. Fortunately, that meeting had to get pushed off to the fall. Because the demo isn't completely closed out yet. Is one reason, and then part of that meeting was the POCD, Plan of Conservation and Development. We weren't ready to have that because we didn't think we were gonna get the turnout with everybody thinking about end of school year, graduation and so on. So we're moving that meeting to early fall when the kids get back in school and people are back from vacation. But part of that meeting will be prospective parking issue fixes for the town, putting parking lots and changing parking lots and adding parking lots, but do it in such a way that the village doesn't lose its identity. 2 new parking lots up at the demo, one on either side of the building, one near the greenhouse and one on Main Street side. And then I showed you behind Town Hall, there's a potential to add parking by making some changes directly behind the old Town Hall. So still just in planning stages, but we know it's an issue. I will ask the troopers to start warnings and tickets at the stop sign, because that is a law. You're not supposed to park within so many feet of a stop sign. I'm sure the owner of the brewery won't be happy with that because he's gonna lose a parking place, but it is what it is. The law is the law, so.
I think the big thing by the brewery is not so much the stop sign, but that's an issue too. But the one like I showed you and I've seen a couple times is they're double parking on the road. So basically you have to ride down the center of the road because there's cars on each side of the road. By
Well,
Mac Turner's and there, so.
that's where the sign pollution, I might have to agree with the past for a second on that one, because we have added so many signs due to
Yeah.
speed humps and so on. I don't want to put no parking signs up and down the village. We have so many signs in the village already, but I know it's an issue. I don't know if what the law is when someone has two wheels on someone's yard and two wheels on the road. And then they're parked on both sides of the street, so. I guess the fire company, if they feel it's an issue, they can't get a truck down there, they can. Contact myself or the authorities. And we can go in and ask people to move their vehicles, but. I think it's an issue. Luckily for us, the brewery's only open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and not 7 days a week. But we know it's an issue and we're gonna try to address it by adding parking.
Okay, you have to talk to Jay, but I think if they're in a roadway, they're in a travel portion of the roadway, right?
Yeah, it's a no-go, but they got a call, so I mean, if
Yeah.
we don't know about it.
Yeah.
That's what I would say if someone brings that to your attention. I'll also let Alex know, or I can speak to one of the owners and say, hey, if you just be cognizant of that, so.
I know we were having parking issues in front of the water intake out of the river, and Don and his guys put in lines and we added cones and trying to keep that access available. That was something that the fire company brought to our attention on many occasions, but that seems to be working better right now. I don't know why people are actually paying attention to it, but they are. But yeah, and the pictures you sent me, I agree. If there's double parking and the road's narrow to begin with, it could cause an issue.
Yes, it's not just traffic. I've seen people walking through there trying to get the cars and in the middle of the road, and so it's just something's going to happen someday. Hopefully not, but we're working on it. So it's a plan. The plan's coming. So at one point, is that meaning you're going to have in the fall? Who's that with?
That'll be a community conversation with anyone
Okay.
in the town that want to go to it, and the first part of it is going to be about the plan of conservation and development, which has pretty much not much of what we're talking about today. It's the direction of the town over the next 10 years. Second part is the what to do with the demolition site where the old middle school used to be, combined with village parking issues.
So basically, we should all be there as well.
If you want to talk about village parking issues, yeah, I would think that would make sense. I mean, if you live in town, it's open to the public, and the more people we can get, the better, because the way it works is you're in a big group, you divide into small groups, discuss issues, get back to the big group and talk about what you discussed, and then the town tries to act on the best suggestions that come out of the meeting, so.
Yeah, just if you remember, like, give us a heads up in case we don't get the notice or forget about it. And we'll try to make sure.
Once we set that date, I'll make sure that your committee has notice.
And then we make sure we're there so we can be in each group if we have to be.
So typically that is a Saturday morning. It goes maybe from 10 to 11:30, break for lunch, come back around between 12 and 12:30 and go to about 1:30. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Just in the middle of summer, might be trouble getting people that go to a meeting like that on a Saturday, especially when school gets out.
Okay, anything else? Oh, I had one. I forgot on the agenda. Legendwood and Johnson Road.
What about it?
I sent Don a request for signs. We had two incidents up there for the fire department. One was a propane truck. It seems to be Google Maps. I looked, actually, I tried it with Apple Maps and Google Maps is the only one that took me that way. But if you're on 49 and say, go to Camp Whiteman, it takes you on Johnson Road and Legendwood Road, which is non-passable by vehicles. We had a propane truck stuck in there that was full, trying to get there. And then maybe 2 months ago now, whatever it was, we had a call for at night. A lady, two women were trying to get somewhere over there and got up where the propane truck was and got stuck and couldn't get out. So we had to go up there and get them out. So
at the island
State property.
from Johnson Road, there is a do not enter sign. No throughway. There is a sign in the island and you can read it from both directions.
can we move it or add another one right where the dirt starts?
We could.
Because that seems to be the issue.
And you can put all the signs up there you want to, but you can't fix people's driving habits.
I know that, but if Google's telling them to go somewhere, they're gonna drive off a cliff, you know that,
Yeah.
you know, as just as well. So at least a sign that says, you know, not a throughway or not passable by vehicles, something. They may get, it looks good now because they had to clear it for the one for the, get the propane truck out and two for the logging operation. So actually it's a pretty good road right now, but once you get past a certain point, it's no good. So.
Yeah, I think there's one. We could pull right at the end where exactly.
I think you should put not, can't pass through with vehicle or something like that. Whatever statement you just said was a good one.
Well, I actually said, and in parentheses, no matter what your GPS says, because it doesn't go there.
All right, so we'll look at that, Steve.
Yeah, no problem. It's just weird. We had two within like 6-8 months or whatever it was. And like I say, I tried it with my phone and Apple wouldn't do it, but Google would.
Okay.
You can't fix stupid.
Yeah,
I kept my mouth shut. Who just said that?
It was Brett. I said it.
I got that sign in my office.
yeah. Understand, but guess what? We do it a lot.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Anything else? Any public comments? I don't see anybody.
No, nothing from me.
All right. So that's it. We're open for adjournment.
Adjourn at 12:30. I motion we adjourn.
Okay. Second it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right.
I
Right. Have a good weekend, everybody.